the kitchen today because we are going to stop today. And instead of cooking, we're going to sit down and create a home cook's kitchen legacy. Because cooking is all about not just preparing the daily meal, but it's about preparing the people in your household to be ready to step up to the plate and to be able to cook their own meals when the time comes. Now, so I'm sure you have some young people who are in your household, or young adults, who you would like to create a legacy for. And the time will come when you may not be the one doing the cooking, and you might not always remember all of the recipe ingredients. So if you put together a legacy here, then they're going to have everything that you do right here in writing by you, ready to go. What a memory, a lasting tradition, and you're going to have it for them. So let's do it today. Today, we're going to create some kitchen legacy home cooks, and we're going to put together from scratch a home cook's kitchen notebook. And so I have a nice clean composition book ready to start. But before I start, I'm going to give you a little sneak peek at the one that I've already started, and then we'll come back and get this one ready. Now, this is a notebook that I shared with you, and just shared it very quickly. And I have managed to somewhat waterproof the outside, and we'll talk about that. I've got information here, whatever information that you want to put on the front. You can certainly cover the entire front, and then that way you can personalize it the way you want it, or you don't have to do anything. You can leave it at like a blank slate and just put Kitchen Notebook Volume 1, Volume 2, whatever it is, or even the dates that you're putting your notebook together. But from there, you're going to want to add some little touches of you, and that's what I've done. I still have a lot of work to do in this particular notebook, but I want to get it started with you, and then we'll be able to go back and actually take a look. Once I get it complete, you'll be able to take a look and say, oh, that's what we did. So I've added a little title page, and I'll put some things in here. I haven't done that yet, and I left other places where I can go back and add. And I have a lot of empty space. Now, empty space is real estate because that allows us to go back and add little touches. I like putting pictures in, and sometimes of the dishes, sometimes of my favorite foods that I see from magazines that I want to remember, and or even events that I may have had. Now, in my book, and certainly this is where it's going to be personalized, you must decide what tabs you're going to need. So I'm going to share with you what my tabs are. And then that way, from there, you can start to put your book together and decide what you're going to do. Now, I'm working with some blank tabs that are removable. These little tabs are from Avery, and you can pick them up at Walmart. You can pick them up at a lot of places, Target, and of course drugstores even have them, and they have other designs and colors. So like I said, that's where you personalize it as to what you want them to be. But they are substantial. You can write on them, but you can also, if you watch, this particular one says this and that. And watch, I can pull it up and I can place it in another location if I like. But I'm going to put it back because I want it right there. That's my this and that for those odd things that I may have. And for instance, in mine, I added in my 20 item capsule because that's going to be quick and easy for me to get to. Now, the divisions that I have a soup and salad. Some things I've put in by hand. You'll see that they're kind of scribbled. They got things that are just wiped out and added to. I have a place for side dishes. And if I want to add pictures, I can certainly do that. Some of the recipes have been that I've typed, that I've done. And so I'll be adding those in. These are side dishes. And I don't have all of them in yet, but they'll be there. Then we're going to flip over to our main dishes. I didn't do just chicken, just beef, just seafood, just pork, or whatever it may be, because I just want a general main dish. And then that way, the main dish may actually be something different. So, our place for our main dishes, and you'll see that I've got some of the dishes that we've actually created right here in the kitchen of Ebony, Ivy, and Thyme. The next section is that of bread and rolls, and that could include our rolls, our muffins, our sourdough, whatever it may be that I decide to put in. I also added a section for desserts. And so I have a few of the desserts that I have actually prepared on the channel. And so I just kind of printed those off and put them in because I don't want to lose them. Now, I also have a section for my meatless SOS meals. SOS being no salt, no sugar, and no oil. And so I have a place for those meals. And as I create more and more meatless meals, then I'll continue to add those in. Now, once this notebook is pretty full, then I'll start to work on volume 2 and get it prepared. But we're going to put it together. And this is a great legacy, because in your Christmas packages, if you have a granddaughter who is coming of age, almost at that point of where she may be going to college, then you may want to put a kitchen notebook together from you to her of all of those dishes that you've created and that you have, that you want to be able to pass down from generation to generation. Or it could be even your grandson, because our boys cook as well. So I have jams and jelly. And like I said, I've still got things to put in, but I'm working on it. And I have a tab that I have not labeled yet, because I'm not quite sure what I'm going to put back here. And I like this particular book because it just so happens that it has the conversion tables and measurements right here in the back. And so that worked out very nicely. So this particular brand, and this is Pen and Gear from Walmart, but it's very handy to have when you need a quick reference for your measurements. And sometimes we're in a hurry. And of course, I've added a little decor to it. Like I said, I've waterproofed it because I know I'm going to be using this book a lot in the kitchen. And so the cover is going to get touched. It's going to get yucky, but now I can take a damp cloth and wipe it off and keep it clean. So let's work on putting a new one together. Now first, I picked up some downloadable artwork from Etsy. And then you can pick out whatever it is that you want. And I printed this off on sticker paper to make it easier to go onto the notebook. So I have taken a sheet, I've cut it in half. So I still have another half. So should I decide to do a third book, I've got another piece of artwork that I can use. So I left the name of the artist on the work. So I'm going to get this peeled. Get it started. It takes a minute or two to separate. Let me get this done. Okay. Now what I'm doing is that I'm reinforcing the binding of it, even though this notebook is in pretty good shape. But I just want to reinforce it. So I'm only taking half of that, only opening up the sticky portion. So I'm going to place my notebook, and I'm going to try to place it in such a way that it's all the way at the top. And then I'll, nope, not quite. Guess I better turn around so I can see it a little better to make sure it's where it's supposed to be. Because once you really get it stuck, it's going to stay. So let's get that there. I'm going to bring that over. Okay, that's the first side. Just take your hand, or you can even take a credit card or whatever, and rub it down. Flip it over. And we're going to take the paper off the back. And what I do is to pull and rub. That way your print stays down nice and snug. Snug as a bug in a rug. And there we go. So we got that done. Now we'll take the scissors and just trim it up. There we go. Now we've got a nice, colorful, adds a little color to it, binding. Now on the inside, I like to put a little cover because, you know, most of the time they have something about school, and this is not about school, this is about our kitchen. And so I'm going to take a second piece that I also printed and put it right in here. So what I'll do first is to just take a pencil and trace out what I need to cut. And trim it. There we go. And we might be able to use those little strips somewhere else. Okay, now we're going to take this apart and let me see which way we're going. We're going this way. Okay, so I'm going to get it started. Because I've cut it, sometimes it takes a little longer to separate. I'll come back. Okay, I've gotten it separated. So I'm going to turn my notebook so I can see. Now this is the non-sticky part. Non-sticky part. This is the sticky. So I'm going to get it started first. So I can put it in place, making sure it's exactly where I want it. Just like we did on the outer portion. Press that in. Then we're going to flip and very gently start to pull this out. And we'll just roll as we go, press as we go. Like I said, you could use a credit card or something, you know, hard. But I'm just pulling carefully, just a little bit at a time, so that to avoid the bubbles, if you can. Sometimes they come anyway, just because the notebook is a little flexible. But we're going to work through that and get this laid. I think I can do it from there. Okay, so there we go. There we go. So that's our inside cover. Our inside cover. How pretty is that? That's pretty nice. Now, I think what I'll do with a piece of this strip is that I'm going to put a piece of this right there. And just add a little decor to the front. Or not. You could even put a piece over here and just kind of let it wrap to that page. But I don't want to interfere with the actual page. But I could put it there. And that would be very nicely. But I think I'll put it over here because I want to be able to flip it easily. Or we could even put a border here and a border there. Now that's a possibility. I think that's what we'll go with. All right, so everything is in place. Now, I think in this notebook, I'm only going to have 9 headings. And I have colors. I have 3 colors, so I know that will work. Now, definitely, I want my this and that. And I'm going to put that toward the front. So this and that for those little extra things. I'm going from there with soups and salads. This and that can include your appetizers, or if you have that many appetizers that you do that you want to share, then certainly you can put that in there. But this and that's for those odd and end things. So I've got my soup and salad. I want my side dishes. I know that category is going to need to be substantial. Your main dishes is going to be your largest category, because that's going to include your casseroles, your whatever your meat dishes might be, whatever the variety of meat dishes that you do, you might want to put those in. If you are a bread baker, bread, rolls, and you could even say, let's see, breads. For me, it's going to be breads, rolls, and that's where muffins and all those good things come in. I want a place for, let's see, what else did I put in there? I had a place, for desserts. I also want a place for my meat-free. And that category is increasing because I'm trying to switch myself over to a more meat-free diet rather than based on meat. So we'll see if we can get that done. We're working together to do that. I want a place where I can put in jams, jellies, they can be savory or they can be sweet. That's up to you. And then I have one that I'm going to leave blank. And that's because I haven't quite decided what number 9 might be. So that gives me quite a bit. We've got our jams and jellies. We've got our breads and our rolls. So we've got all of those items. So this gives us one blank that you can add and decide what particular category that will work for you. So this is what I'm going to put into this book. And like I said, this and that is for those odd and end pages. Now, this particular book has, you can probably look somewhere. Oh, this one tells right on the front, that it has 120 sheets. And it's considered as a 3-subject notebook. So 3 categories, 3 main categories. We've got 9. So that means that each of those categories should have about 3. And in this particular book, what they've done for each category is that I'm trying to find it, but they divided it. Let's see if I can find they had a sheet that was in the other one that showed you where they divided. There's a brown sheet that was in there, but somehow or another I'm missing it, but I know he's in here. We'll find him along the way. So with 120 sheets, you can certainly do it evenly, but I'm not going to do it quite that way. So I'm going to take, that's our cover. If you want to do a table of contents, you can certainly leave a place for table of contents. If you want to journal in the front to whomever you're going to give it to. So I'd say take maybe 5 pages. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to take, and because these are removable and we're not going to label them first. So I'm going to start, just because I like pink, I'm going to start here with a pink label. And that's tab number 1. Now for this and that, I'm going to give it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, 9. About 9 pages. And so I'm going to use this because I need to place my second tab. So I'm going to put this right there. See where he stops? About there. And I'll know, okay, that's where the next one needs to go. Get it lined up. And that's tab number 2. Now, tab number 2 is soups and salads, so that's going to be pretty substantial. So I'm going to give it about 12 pages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 11, and 12, because I typically have a lot of soup. So I have a third color, that's the lavender. I'll pull one back so I know about where to go with him and where to place him. And voila, there's our third tab. The next section is main dishes. Now, that's going to be, oh, side dishes. So that's going to be a substantial one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And I'm going to even go over to 13, and we don't want to stop on 13, it's 14. 14 pages for side dishes, because we typically have a lot of side dishes. And flip it back, line it up. And there's the next tab. So the next one is a biggie, that's main dishes. So I'm going to give it probably at least 15, maybe more. So 1, 2, okay, I've got 15. I'm going to line it up. And there we go. So there's the first 5 tabs in place. So I'm going to keep going, and when I get to the end, I'll come back. Number 5. All right. Now you're going to see that we have all of the tabs in place. And I haven't written on my tabs just yet, but that's what I'm about to go back and do, and to label each one. See, I got that in the wrong order. Okay. Number 3, so number 4. That was main dishes. Okay, so this is going to be side dishes. Now the good news is I can shift that. Breads and rolls. Oh. May have to switch that color. Let's see if this will erase. Oh, of course not. Yeah, I misspelled it. Boo-boo. Don't do what I did. Got in a hurry. I have to come back to that. Breads and rolls. This is desserts. Then I have meat-free. Jams and jellies. And I don't have anything for that right now. Okay, so since I got some of these out of order, I can always go back and do a little rearranging of the pages since I haven't started to write anything in this particular notebook. I hate that I messed up, but I will probably add another tab in. I don't have another blue one, but you know, nobody will know. I'll put in another color here and switch it out because I know that's going to drive me crazy. So that was breads and rolls. Oh, you know what? I do it. Nope, that didn't work. So this is going to work. Breads and rolls. I'm going to go to where breads and rolls is, and I'm going to pull this one and put in a nice one right there. Okay, now no one really pays that much attention to it, right? So there are all of our tabs ready to go. So our notebook is ready. So now it's just a matter of you deciding how you want to, what you want to put in it, whether you want to add pictures like I did. It can be pictures, like I said, out of magazines. It can be certainly pictures of your family along the way. And you will have an opportunity to just personalize your kitchen notebook for you. Now, you're going to want to know how I waterproofed it. I took wrapping tape, and I wrapped my notebook, wrap the cover from, you could certainly do it in such a way that you do it from top to bottom, so it will be on the inside and the outside. I did not. I just mainly did the outside. So you'll have to decide, but I used wrapping tape, and this is Scotch brand, and that worked out very nicely. But don't put the tape on until you've decided what you might want to put on your cover. So leave that part to last, okay? Oh, what fun we have had. We have put together our legacy and we've started it. So we're going to be able to work on this when we're cooking. We'll add the recipes that everyone loves. We'll add the recipes that we're working on and we're creating. And we want to show them how we do that right here in our kitchen notebook. So I'm so glad that you came today on the journey, and I hope you didn't forget to give me a thumbs up. And if you're not already a family member, then you'll want to make sure that you subscribe. So have a blessed time with your kitchen notebook for your family members.